So hello guys, this is our chapter 4 of 100 Beggars book. So let's start the video. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel because I am going to upload a lot of videos on the topics of personal finance, English speaking, and how to improve your English. So let's start. There have been a number of prior studies of 100 beggars besides Phelps' excellent book. I don't know whether I have found them all, but I have found a few in at least a pair of them. Phelps was an inspiration. There are, of course, countless studies on stocks that outperform, but here I am focused specifically on the 100 bagger phenomenon or close likenesses. I want to highlight some of these because they lay more groundwork for what follows, and many of the principles uncovered here are ones I will emphasize later. There are only so many paths to 100 baggerdom, and these trailblazers, including Phelps himself, have helped map out the territory. Tony's 100 baggers. A fellow, a fellow named Tony, as TS Analysis published one informal 15-page study called An Analysis of 100 Baggers. You can find it free online. I am not an investment advisor or financial analyst, Tony writes, just a guy who likes to analyze stocks. He looked at 19 such 100 baggers. He drew four conclusions, which excerpts below. The most powerful stock moves tended to be during extended periods of growing earnings accompanied by an expansion of PE ratio. These periods of PE expansion often seem to coincide with periods of accelerating earnings growth. Some of most attractive opportunities occur in between down forgotten stocks, which perhaps after years of losses are returning to profitability. During such periods of rapid share price appreciation, stock prices can reach lofty P/E ratios. This shouldn't necessarily deter one from continuing to hold the stock. Henson Natural, now Monster Beverage, is a classic illustration of these points. Tony showed how earnings growth rates went from negative in 2001 to 0% in 2002. From there, earnings increased on a quarterly basis by 20%, 40%, and then 100%. In 2004, quarterly earnings growth accelerated to 120% and then 150%, 170%, and finally to 20% by the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, the price earning ratio also ramped up. In 2001, earnings were just 4 cents per share and stock had a PE of 10. By 2006, earnings were about $1 per share and PE was 50. Think about that. Earnings went up 25 fold, but thanks to the market putting a bigger multiple on those earnings, the stock went up 125 fold. We will look at Monster Beverage in more detail in the next chapter. Growth, and more growth are what power these big movers. There was a good case study of 100 bagger recently posted on the Microcap Club's website by Chip Meloni. This is worth spending a little time on and illustrates Tony principle. Meloni reviewed MTY Foods, which is a Canadian franchisor of quick service restaurants such as Thai Express, Extreme Pita, and TCBY. In 2003, MTY Foods had a 5 million market cap. Every dollar invested in MTY Foods then was worth $100 by 2013. The question Meloni asks is the question I have asked myself many times in writing these books. Essentially, how did this 100 bagger become a 100 bagger? In this case, the story begins with Stanley Ma, who became president of the company in 2003. MTY had a fast food franchising business, and Ma was the entrepreneur who started the company's very first restaurant concept, Tiki Ming Chinese cuisine, in 1987 as a recent immigrant to Canada. What's most remarkable about this is Ma bought 20% of the company when he became president. Altogether, he owned 29% of the firm. As an owner operator, he had every incentive to make the stock work. Meloni goes through a number of reasons why MTY was successful. It starts with Ma, but it was a remarkable opportunity on many other levels as well. Here are few attributes I have chosen from Meloni more extensive list. Stock Stock traded for two times forward earnings. Business was a cash cow with 70% gross margins, long runway. MTY was just a tiny fraction of fast food industry. Ma created new restaurant concepts and bought others. The names and details are not important. What's important is that these new acquired concepts allowed MTY to increase its number of locations. These businesses generated high profits, so taking those profits, reinvesting them created a flywheel of rapidly growing revenues and earnings. You can see this clearly in the table on the next page. MTY's path to coveted 100 bagger status. Meloni makes an interesting observation here. Earning per share grew by a factor of 12.4x, but if the company only grew earning by 12.4x, how did the stock grow 100x? The answer lies in the price to earning multiple expansion. Investors in MTY went from paying roughly 3.5% earning when it was left for dead in 2003 to a more optimistic 26x earnings in 2013. So again, you need huge growth in earnings, but the combination of rising earnings and a higher multiple on those earnings is really what drives explosive returns over the long term. And in this case, long term was not really all that long, just 10 years. I call these two factors, growth in earnings and a higher multiple on those earnings, the twin engines of 100 beggars. 100 beggars. We will come to this point again. Microcaps and 100 baggers. As usually defined, a microcap is a stock with a market cap of less than 300 million. Microcaps actually dominate the market in terms of number of stocks. There are about 16,000 publicly traded stocks in the United States. About 7,360 are under 500 million. From there, here is how the market caps break down from Gentry's book Microcap Superstars. Okay, now from here, this is introduction. The alchemy behind 100 baggers. My focus is on the US market, but I have wondered what such a study might look like in other markets. Fortunately, one such study exists. A firm called Motilal Oswal put together a study of 100 baggers in India, published in 2014. The authors of the report also found their inspiration in Phil's work and dedicated their report to him. It's a fine report and there is much wisdom in it. Very few investors even conceptualize their equity investment multiplying 100 times. They wrote even fewer actually experience a 100-fold rise in the price of their stocks. This is because such 100-fold rises may take longer than 3 or 5 or even 10 years time, and holding on to stocks beyond that period requires patience. Indeed, it does. As you well know by now, nearby is a chart that neatly plots the returns required and the years needed to reach 100 bagger status. Years it takes for 100x at different rates. So 94.5 years takes for compounding rate in percent 5 years, so it takes 94 years, 10%, 48, 15, 33, 20, 25, 21, and 50%, 11 years, 100x. You don't have to hold on to a stock for 20 years to get a 100 bagger, but the idea is to show you the power of long term compounding. To harness that power takes some time. The Oswal study found 47 enduring 100 baggers in India over the past 20 years. It excluded fleeting bubble like stocks. What's shocking is that the Indian stock market as a whole is a 100 bagger relative to 1979. The BSE Sensex has a base of 100 for the year 1979. The Oswal report noted the Sensex first touched 10,000 in February 2006. That's 100 bagger in 27 years, a 19% annually. As I write, the Sensex is at 27,000. What I find most interesting are Oswald's conclusions. After all, the aim here is to apply what we learn from the study to help us find 100 baggers today. Based on my work on Phelps, it's easy to agree with Oswald when he wrote, the single most important factor is growth in all its dimensions, sales, margins, and valuations. Most 100 baggers had huge growth curves in these areas. Studying 100 baggers then comes down to studying growth, how it happens, and how it endures as it must to reach the heights of 100 bagger dome. As the chart shows, a 20% annual return gets you there in about 25 years. That's about the average 100 bagger in my study. But there are other ingredients as well. Our analysis of 100x stocks suggests that their essence lies in the alchemy of five elements forming the acronym of SQGLP. They wrote S means size is small, Q quality is high for both business and management, G growth in earnings is high, L longevity in both Q and G, P price is favorable for good returns. Most of these fairly objective save for assessing management. In the ultimate analysis, it is the management alone which is the 100x alchemist, they concluded, and it is to those who have mastered the art of evaluating the alchemist that the stock market rewards with gold. That's one reason why I focus on people, which we will get into more in a later chapter. Investing with top entrepreneurs and owner operators gives you a big edge. And when you mix their talent with the other elements, you are on your way to big returns. If not 100 baggerdom, you can find the 48-page report on Indian 100 baggers free online. Just search for Motilal Oswal 100x and it will come right up. So I will stop my video here, and let's subscribe the channel if you like my videos are helping you or increasing your knowledge. So I stop the video here, and in the next video I will start from Marsley 100 baggers. Thank you.